Hey guys, it's Michelle, and today's video is going to be all about the unsolved mystery of the Sodder children. This is a really requested video, and after looking into it, it's so fucking interesting, and I can see why you guys requested it so much. It creeps me the fuck out, so let's get into it. The Sodder family consists of 9 children that belong to Jenny and George Sodder. The George Sodder family is from Italy, and they lived in Fayetteville, West Virginia. So at their West Virginia home in 1945 on Christmas Eve, their house went up in flames and completely burned. So Jenny, George, and their kids Sylvia, age 2, George Jr., age 16, Marion, age 17, and John, age 23, all escaped the fire and were fine. However, they had 5 other children. Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty did not make it out alive. So, of course, at the time of the fire, it was assumed that they just didn't make it out. We'll get into that in a second. George Sodder wanted to go get his children out of the house. They were upstairs, so he would have to go upstairs in order to get them out of the burning house. He tried to go up the stairs, but the staircase was on fire. Then he tried to find the ladder that he always is in the same spot. He said it was not there. And then he even tried to take his coal trucks so that he could climb on his coal trucks in order to reach the window. However, his coal trucks, both of them, were weirdly not starting. So immediately, that's just kind of weird in general. Like, why wasn't the ladder there? Why weren't his 2 trucks starting? Like, what the fuck? The neighbors rang the fire department. However, the fire department wasn't like answering, let alone, like, it was Christmas Eve, but still, usually they have like 24-hour fireman services, pretty sure. The fire department was only 2.5 miles away, so 2 neighbors called with no answer, so one of them decided to drive up to the fire department, and they found the fire chief and told them about the fire, and from then, the fire department took around 7 hours after the fire started to come to the house. 7 fucking hours! Like, that's a long ass time. Obviously by then the entire house was just ash. And that's so freaky to me. I don't know, it freaks me out. The 5 children were assumed to have been dead there, but the family expressed their concerns when they realized there was no bone fragment or any remains of these 5 children found. There was literally nothing there. No proof of this at all. The fire chief kind of made like a statement saying that because of how hot the fire was, that the kids were just completely cremated, including their bones. Well, that seems pretty logical. Everyone's like chill about it for the first time, but like the parents didn't really buy that. They were kind of like, I'm pretty sure that that doesn't happen. I'm pretty sure that bones don't just cremate, because usually in a crematory, they asked people who knew a lot about getting cremated, and they said that even at 2,000 degrees, the human flesh is what turns to ash and the bones are not. And the bones still remain there. It's basically impossible. The children were pretty much not in the fucking house. It's almost like scientifically impossible for the children to have been in the house, because there would have been bone fragment left over, and there wasn't any. Not only that, but it also didn't smell like burning flesh at the time or after the fire. So the coroner report was that it was faulty like wiring, and something went wrong with the electricity, and that's what sparked the fire. What's weird is George Sodder had his like wiring checked close to Christmas at time, like not too long ago, and everything seemed to be working perfectly fine, and it was a perfectly safe house. And it is important to note that George is from Italy, and it's never really said why he left Italy. People might think it's like shady or whatever, but he did not like Mussolini at all, and he did not agree with what he was doing, so he would voice his opinion in his small like kind of town where he would pretty much talk to like other Italian people, and this upset a lot of people that he did not like Mussolini. A lot of people got upset with his words. A life insurance salesman yelled at George and said, "Your goddamn house is going up in smoke, and your children are going to be destroyed, and you're going to be paid for the dirty remarks you have been making about Mussolini." This man literally threatened in like the fall time, so before his house obviously went on fire, literally threatened George Sodder and said, "Yo dude, your house is gonna go up in flames and your family is gonna be screwed too. Like, bye, like your kids are gonna be destroyed," which by the way just sounds dramatic as fuck. But I mean, it fucking happened, so like that's pretty weird. Another like strange event is that on US Highway 21, days before the fire, 2 of the surviving children saw a suspicious man who was kind of lurking and watching the other Sodder children come home from school. This is the events that happened on the actual night of the fire. On December 24th at 12:30 a.m. the phone rang and the mother, Jenny, got up to answer it. She says that she noticed the lights were still on downstairs, which is a really important factor because if the fire were due to faulty wiring, the lights would have been turned off, the power would have been out. She also heard a loud bang on the roof followed by something rolling, and just an hour later the fire started. But not only that, but the family also claimed that the lights were on as the fire was burning, which obviously indicates that it was not faulty wiring. So you may be thinking at this point, where the fuck are the other children? Where the fuck's the 5 children? Where are they? They weren't in the fire, so they were not cremated. It is very unlikely that they were. The mother, Jenny, even did tests with animal bones. Like I said, they went to the crematorium and asked them, and they all said there would have been bone fragments, and there were 0 bone fragments at all. So it's highly, highly unlikely that the children were in the house at the time of the fire. And the family strongly believed that their children were kidnapped. So there have also been many sightings of the Sodder children. This is how the rest of the story plays out. So that night, a woman claimed to see the children in a car while the fire was still burning, which is pretty interesting. And another woman claimed to see that she saw the children on Christmas Day, saying, "I served them breakfast. And there was a car with a Florida license plate at the tourist court too." And then also at a hotel in Charleston, South Carolina, a week later, a woman reported to see 4 out of the 5 Sodder children, saying the children were accompanied by 2 men and 2 women, all of Italian extraction, and she continued to say that she tried to speak to the children, but the man was very hostile and did not let her talk to the children. Years later, this is what I find so creepy. George saw a picture of New York City school children in a newspaper and believed that one of them looked like his missing daughter, Betty. He did everything he could. He drove all the way to New York City and tried to investigate the child's parents and find them. But once he found the parents, they declined to speak to him at all, which is obviously very weird. The FBI also wanted to help in this case because they believed that it wasn't just like a normal fire, and they believed that the kids were actually kidnapped as well. However, the Fayetteville Police and Fire Department denied the FBI from helping, which is weird. Why the fuck wouldn't you want the FBI to help? Like, what? So the family hired a private investigator named C.C. Tinsley, and they discovered that the same coroner who was the one who declared the house to have been not like an arsenic fire, declared the house fire to be due to faulty wiring, was actually the exact same life insurance salesman who was the one who literally threatened George Sodder, saying that his house would go up in smokes. So that's obviously a fucking pretty interesting detail, that the man who threatened him was the man who declared it to be faulty wiring. Obviously, there's a lot of shady shit going on with this story. In 1968, a photograph was addressed to Jenny and was sent from Kentucky. They believe this could be their son, Louis. On the back, it said, "Louis Sodder, I love brother Frankie, little boys, A90132 or 35. What's really weird is the family hired a private investigator to go to Kentucky, yet the detective was never found again or ever spoken to again. I don't know. What do you guys think about this story? That's like pretty much the end of the story. Right now, the only living Sodder child is Sylvia that we know of. However, Betty was young as well, so she could still be living if that was the case. If they were just sold to an orphanage, that's like a lot of the most popular theories, that they were like taken and sold to orphanages. I don't even know though, because wouldn't they like remember? Like the oldest one was like fucking 14 years old. You're gonna remember shit. I don't know, and it's so weird that we'll never know what happened. However, Sylvia Sodder and her children continue to investigate the case. They want to keep this case alive in honor of their siblings and parents, because their parents worked their whole lives trying to find out what happened to their children. I think this mystery is so interesting. What do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comments what you think could have happened to the 5 Sodder children. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you think about this case, what you think happened, and also let me know if you want me to do more like unsolved mystery kind of cases. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram, because I'm always posting really creepy stuff on there, and if you want to check out my latest video, you can click right here, and click right here to subscribe for new videos every single day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye!